Electro here. I've been watching videos lately on Pantagraphs, and although there's some very nice ones out there, they seem to have made them all in like a 3-axis design. So I thought I'd do a show and tell of my one, which is a 5-axis. It's a professional pantograph milling machine, but it'll give DIYers a couple of good ideas on the table, so they can modify theirs accordingly. I'll go through the system as a whole first. This is the vacuum unit. It's a rather large unit, but it's got a HEPA filter on the top, a filter in the middle, and the dust collections on the bottom. As you can see, it's rather large in the intake area, and that makes it, for being quiet, it also, because it's got a large stream, it takes care of all the light particles which you're most likely to breathe, so it extracts those really well. It's a pretty good unit actually. Anyway, getting back to this, the rest of the pantograph. Now this one is geared for a 20% size increase because I mill ceramic with this particular one. But as you all know, you can vary these angles on the pantograph for different ratios, anything from 1:1 to negative sizes to enlarging, or etc. This comes with its own selection of styluses and burrs. I've got a range of styluses and burrs anywhere from 4mm down to 0.3mm, so I can do some pretty fine detail work with all this, and the styluses are suitably machined different sizes, because if you're going for a size increase, the ratio of cutting burr to stylus has to be increased as well, but that's all taken care of. If it was a 1:1 ratio, the stylus and the burr would be the same size. But anyway, getting to the important bit, pardon me, which is what makes this a 5-axis machine, is the table. Now, because this is a professional unit, I'm not sure if anyone can copy this or legally or whatever, but this is just an idea so they can devise their own methods, so to speak. A good feature of this is the slanting table, both in this direction and in that direction. The ability also for this to flip around and have that same degree of flexibility gives this a true 5-axis ability. So now, because you've got access to the underside for milling, you have to mount your object in a different manner. As you can see here, I've just mounted a screwdriver in there, and I've copy milled it here in the ceramic. Now, you can see the side of the screwdriver has got grips, and the top of it has got scratches. And I'll see if I can focus. I'll bring this over for a light. Yeah, you can see the scratches on the top there. I've duplicated those scratches there in the mill, so you can see this thing gets down to some pretty fine detail. The accuracy of this, I've got to say, it's as good as a CNC mill. This is some detail that I've done on this machine. As you can see there, the detail of that is quite good, and that was copy milled from a solid original, so that's the sort of detail you can expect, because everything is linear bearings, etc. Now, some of them have a counterweight on the end of the arm to make it light. This particular one is with a spring with a roller linear bearing there, so basically as you move the arm backwards and forwards, that moves along and helps support the machine to give it a nice light action, as you can see there. Now, it's foot controlled. It's also plumbed with air, because as you mill, there's a light airstream. I'll just demonstrate. I'll just turn it on. It's hard to do this one-handed. There's also a a pulser there, which you just get it down with the foot control down there, and you just give it another stomp, and that turns it off. The air will run for another 20 seconds and then it turns itself off, and that's it. Now, I presume you can change these angles. I haven't tried yet, but as you can see under here, there's all spaces, so I can vary everything I want. It also comes with LED lights, which are a handy feature to illuminate the areas that you're working with. But I suppose for the DIYers, the most important feature is the table. It's also got a degree indicator there on the side. Not that it helps if you're copy milling anyway, but for the more technical stuff, it does. There's also table locks for the movement that way. This is an infinite lock, which means you can lock it at any position. It doesn't matter. And the one on the side here is preset at like 90 degrees, 45 degrees, etc. So once you lock it in, the table doesn't move. Yeah, but this mechanism here allows these milling tables to move in unison. Which is a big factor in your milling tables. Now, the jigs, because you've got the ability to flip this and go from the underside and get the other angles, as you can see there. Although this is a scrap piece of ceramic, I didn't have the length on the other underside for that, but I just milled the top, so you could basically see on the side. You can get everywhere merely a 3D shape. You can do this in metal, by the way, instead of ceramic or wood or whatever plastic, whatever material you choose. It depends on your cutting burr. And these are tungsten burrs, so they'll cut through anything. With the jigs as well, because you've got access to the underside, you have to mount your master model on the side, because you can flip it over and mill from the underside. If you just had it flat, like on a flat surface, you couldn't turn it over and mill to get the odd angles that 5-axis machines can get. So yeah, this is a fairly simple design to modify. So anyway, post your comments. Bye for now.